Welcome to True Mama House.
Hello.
Alright, we just gonna talk.
We started talking about Charlie Kirk and how a lot of people in the church support or are super, super sad about his passing. And we were like, do they know what he stands for? And then we talked about school shootings. We talked about children.
It's so funny how people be coming out of the blue and being like, oh, he didn't deserve this. When y'all didn't say shit about the children that died because of gun violence, they didn't deserve that. Children in Gaza didn't deserve what's happening right now. Or
the 3 kids who were just shot in Denver on the same day that motherfucker was shot.
Right. No one talks about that, but everyone want to come to whatever Kirk's defense.
Nobody wants to talk about what's happening in Nepal, in Congo, in Sudan, in Gaza, but they made it such huge news of this guy's passing that even this country forgot about 9/11.
Yeah.
What a weird time.
I had to cut off motherfuckers because I'm like, I think they're so blinded by religion and Christianity.
We also have our sister Shane here. She joined us in our What the Helly video.
I was saying, I feel like sometimes people are so blinded by Christianity specifically that's all they focus on. What really got me was people were like, Charlie Kirk is a child of God. He was a man of faith who left a wife and 2 kids behind.
Maybe this is the exact thing they stood for, because when he spoke how he spoke on gun violence, immigration, black women, black men, George Floyd, Gaza, when he spoke on these things and he said it, maybe they agreed with that.
Maybe.
Because there's a part of me that sometimes I think people are stupid and ignorant. And then now there's a part of that it's like, are you willfully choosing this evil piece of shit and his rhetoric? Did it work on you because that's what you believe?
Oh, people are so dumb.
Well, Hitler was someone's brother and someone's son.
He was.
Why didn't anybody care for him?
He was someone's role model.
Yeah.
Like, that's how stupid they sound. Do y'all think these Charlie Kirk people are ignorant? Or do y'all think that they know what they believe in? Okay.
It could be a lot of everything. I do agree with that too. A lot of times they probably don't even know what Kirk stands for. They just thought, oh, there's this white man and he was shot and he died and he didn't deserve this. And he was a man of God.
They think that's the right kind of person to support.
Yeah. He's also so racist and misogynist. He doesn't give a fuck about people of color and women's rights. And he doesn't give a fuck about children and gun laws, reforming gun laws so that children can be safe at schools. Because he cares more about the Second Amendment, unfortunately.
That was like his only commitment to, like, his entire career and life was spent all around that. And it's unfortunate that that's how he went. And now I think we should also talk about how people be thinking that we wished this on him. We don't wish this on him. In fact, we so not wish this on people that we're so for gun reform. Gun policy. Like, are people not understanding that?
Here's a picture that I saw. And it said, I don't support what happened to Charlie. Charlie supported what happened to Charlie.
Period.
And I'm just like, we didn't say we wanted this to happen. We're not rejoicing that it happened. And I don't blame those who do rejoice in it either.
It's
honestly.
unfortunate that he had to be the sacrifice of what, he believed in. That's how he measured.
We're saying gun violence is not okay. Do something about it so that people can be safe and all these people aren't being murdered because of lack of gun control. And then this man, Charlie Kirk, was saying, well, unfortunately, some people are gonna die so that I can keep my Second Amendment. And then he dies literally right after a question regarding gun control.
That's so ironic.
And then people are like, well, his life matters. And then we're all saying we're not for gun violence. This is the very reason why we were fighting for gun control. It's because people are dying. Children, especially in schools, are dying because of the lack of gun control.
The irony is, his death is what we were trying to prevent.
Right.
Yes, and people don't see that.
Yeah.
And then this happens. Like, we're saying these lives matter. The lives of these children matter. Why did it take for one white man to die for all these people to rise up and be like, oh my gosh, he didn't deserve this? What about all those other children who died in schools because of lack of gun control?
Can we get a Chowder ASMR moment?
That was a good one. a lot of people in the church, they only look at the physical. They're not seeing in a spiritual lens of how things look. They're not seeing the deeper meaning of things, the principle.
Even if it's right there in front of them.
For me, if they actually believed that, like if they actually had a stance, I could teach them, like, you know, that's not true. Like gun violence is huge. This kills children in America the most. Then if they actually believe in what is true, they would be like, wow, I didn't know that statistic. They would be willing to evolve from it, right? If you actually believe in something, you would be willing to be challenged on it. At least for me. But when you don't know what you believe in, there's nothing to get you out of that middle gray area. You don't stand anywhere. Because at one point, it's scary to think at one point, because I was so churchy and so pro-life and anti-LGBTQ, because that's how we grew up. This is what I thought was right. At some point, I was like, that's wrong. Right? Can these people ever get to that point where they're able to look at themselves like truly objectively, like what I believe is wrong and I'm willing to believe in a new thing?
Yeah. It pisses me off. Every single thing Charlie Kirk stood for, people justified that just because he claimed to be a Christian. Just because you claim to be a child of God, it shouldn't justify and make what he said and what he stood for correct. That doesn't mean what he stood for was correct. That's crazy to me. Just because he had that title, that religious title, that they're like, okay, just like Trump. How all these Christians voted for Trump because he's pro-life and he's Christian.
Right?
Like, what the fuck?
It's so scary that when Christians, and not just Christians, but people who have this strong belief in a person, they have them on a pedestal, that person can do absolutely no wrong. That's such a scary thing to think of, which is why Hitler was such a powerful leader. I feel like for a long time, that was me with mom. That was me with my ex. Like, when you just look at something as so dearly, and even if it's a facade, it's not real, you just have this view on it. Until you finally open up your eyes and you see the truth, you're like, wow, that was bullshit.
I'm confused though why people stand for him when they have nothing to gain from that at all. It's not that you need to gain something from everything you believe in. People of color, for example, who are standing up for Charlie Kirk. How does that benefit you at all? It's at the cost of you and your people. He didn't give a fuck about your people. That's why it's even more painful to see.
Yeah, but that's the thing about when we grew up in church, though, is like, the pain, let it be mine. I'm undeserving. Like, why would they gain something from that? They think it's honorable to suffer in the belief of something. They believe suffering is the way through.
That's crazy.
And I only know that because we grew up with them. We know this is what they think.
Are they even suffering though?
They don't believe. It's the craziest thing. They believe they have to suffer in the name. So then they incite this violence, and then people are upset with them, and then they're persecuted.
And they think they bring prison.
Right. It's such a wicked way of seeing the world. They think what happened to Jesus is what is happening to them when they are, in fact, the ones who crucified Jesus.
If you're going to be persecuted, or feel like you're persecuted, at least be persecuted for the truth.
How are you going to fake
Not
persecute
alive.
yourself? And they're that meme where the kid is holding a boot to his face.
Like, what? Make it make sense. It's so stupid. It's mind-blowing that people care more about this white man who was murdered than all the children who was murdered because of gun violence.
Bro.
And children being separated because of ICE.
I seen something on Instagram today. And it said, Charlie Kirk's shooting, his death, was the first one I seen that wasn't of a Palestinian or someone in Gaza. And I was like, wow, that is true. On my feed, all I've been seeing is the genocide, the war, the attacking that are happening on people in Gaza. And when I'd seen Charlie Kirk's, against my will, I was not trying to go look for it. Remember I told you I didn't want to see it? And it popped up. I realized that was the first time I seen someone who was not.
Oh, man. On social media, I also saw people talking about how they were, like, very relieved that the person who shot Charlie wasn't a person of color, because we know how the news would have turned that around to dehumanize that person who shot him if they were a person of color.
Bro, and the bullshit behind that is that now that they know who the shooter is, who is a white kid, who is a white man, 22 years old from Utah, they know it's him, and still black colleges are being targeted. Tell me how the fuck that works.
This world is fucked up. People are dumb as fuck.
America is.
we also spoke on that. It's like for the longest time, we wouldn't call people dumb or stupid. But then now we're like, oh, wow, this person is dumb. Like they truly just will not understand the truth.
Like you could have knowledge, yes, but also not be able to critically think or choose not to critically think. That's dumb to me. And that's why I say these people are dumb as fuck.
There's no applied intelligence. Yeah. It's just random scattered head knowledge.
They do nothing with that. It's like cause more harm. They're not able to think beyond their own beliefs.
It's so odd that they think we will be the ones who have strayed away.
Yeah, you guys don't have empathy and compassion and love for the single one white, a privileged cis male gendered of America.
That's so crazy.
But you're supposed to have the love of Christ for them. And it's like, oh, but screw these kids in Gaza. Screw everybody else.
Like, oh, you want to talk about empathy. When y'all didn't give a fuck and suddenly y'all do because this one white man died.
And speaking of empathy, he didn't believe in empathy.
Yes, he said that was a made up fucking thing.
Yeah, he said it was new age shit. And so it's like we're only treating him the way that he treated everyone else. That's why the golden rule is treat others how you like to be treated. And he's being treated this way because this is how he did people his entire life. Why are people upset?
It makes me so mad though, because he would use the name of Jesus as a way to justify his actions. Like, when they would get into, like, debates with people, he would always bring up the word. What a poor misrepresentation.
Don't do my homie like that, right? Like, why would you do Jesus like that?
It's like, this is not what he stood for. What the fuck are you talking about?
And the people who claim to know Jesus, who support him, I'm like, you don't know Jesus either, because you would know. You would know y'all don't have the same shepherd as someone who actually believes in Jesus.
Yes, Christians need to reevaluate what Jesus said about loving the poor, the widows, the orphans, the hungry. But no. Let's apply all of that to Charlie Kirk.
Because in the Bible, when it talks about when we meet him face to face, he's gonna ask us, like, I was sick, I was hungry, and you didn't feed me. If Charlie was actually a man who stood for human rights, stood for people of color, stood for immigrant children and families, if he actually stood for what's right, then I could understand the outrage of people. But people are outraged for someone who was fucking racist.
They see themselves in him. And how could the world do me like this? So that's why when you were talking about our cousin has said what she said, it's like she sees that as her. She said her dad, because how you gonna leave her without a dad if he hypothetically got shot? Because that's what she thinks you would think. And it's like, girl, you dumb bitch. Like,
he's a child of God and she's a child of God too.
How are they gonna self-persecute? Like,
why would you stand up for someone who claims to be a child of God but fucking hates people, especially people of color? It doesn't make sense. I genuinely couldn't understand that. Like, you don't see how racist he is? He said if he got into a plane and saw a black pilot, this bitch.
I know.
He's so fucked up. I don't understand how people can support that. Just like Trump.
You know how you and I, like, how can people support this? They fucking believe this
the
shit
same way about us?
as much as we believe in what we believe. Think about that. If they actually believe it, though.
But this is actually right and wrong, and theirs is wrong. I'm not even
They
gonna
think
lie.
we are as wrong as they think they're right.
So they think racism is okay, and
Yes.
that we're wrong because we're not for racism?
And okay, I'm just gonna. This is how I have thought about it in my mind. Is for them to say that this guy's a bad guy would mean they would have to reevaluate and be like, am I a bad guy? Like, wait, why are all these people outraged that he said these things about a black pilot? I would say that about a black pilot. Like, he validates their racism, their bigotry, like their hatred. He is that. I am him. He is me. Type shit. They see themselves in that person.
I think people have turned against themselves.
Yeah.
Like people of color. I'm like, do you know that Charlie is so not for you and your people as a person of color, right? The system somehow got you to turn against your own people.
But
for the benefit of white people.
I want to add real quick though is
okay.
It's simply only Christians of color
Yes.
that I'm seeing who
That's
believe
because
this.
he claimed to be a Christian.
Right.
It's so dumb.
He fed into what they believed. His rhetoric, that's what they supported.
All right, y'all. For the record, okay? This is for the record. If I ever do something horrible, just remember, okay? Just excuse what I did by saying I'm a child of God, okay? Because it seems like that's a free ticket everyone uses nowadays. I'm a daughter of God. And I get to do whatever I want because of that. Apparently.
Ostensibly.
Yes, just like Charlie Kirk.
What a week.
There was a school shooting in Colorado that same day. And people didn't fucking talk about that. But everyone want to be like, oh, R.I.P. Charlie, you didn't deserve this. The children did not deserve this. We need to do better for them.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have stricter gun laws.
Them gun laws probably would have saved him. Also, for the record, I'm not anti-Second Amendment. I do believe in knowing how to use it. Anyway, I don't own one. Anyway, people always say that they believe there should be guns because I'm not going to do anything with it, but in case someone else has one, that I can shoot them. There ain't nobody catch this guy. You know what I mean? So it's like the excuse of having guns, it just isn't valid. It's harming more children than it is doing anything else.
The system was never broken. It was built to do exactly this, to divide us and to benefit white people. And it goes way back in history. We can't just look at the now. No, we have to look at everything that led up to now. History is repeating itself in different ways. And I don't think people are seeing it because they're not educated. And if they are, they don't fucking care. They want to go back to the way things were because they benefited from it.
Mm-hmm. I think the saddest thing is that, like, a lot of the people, you know, when we play werewolf and the villagers kind of fuck themselves over.
Yeah.
In this real life world right now, the villagers are the Christians. And they just kind of are dumb. They're so dumb. They don't think for themselves. Like, they literally do not challenge anything that they believe in. They are the easiest pawns to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. The reason why we're so disappointed in this is because it's the Christians who believe in the things that should save them from what they're falling for. We're measuring Christians the way that they measure as well, right? Like to love their neighbors, to help the poor, to love the women and children, to do kind things. And it's just like, you're just not doing it. They're not doing it. And they're upset at people for calling them out on not doing it. People are just not made of integrity anymore.
Yeah. Trump says he loves dumb, uneducated people because they vote for him. And it's because they're not aware of what has already occurred. They're not aware of what's going on right now. So that's why they believe and they vote aimlessly for who they believe in just because of his title or whatever the fuck he claims to believe in. They don't actually know what he stands for. And sometimes they do know. And they stand exactly for that. Mm-hmm. But they're just dumb.
Yeah, there are like two types of Trump supporters. Like your typical white neo-Nazis and then your churchy Christians, whether they're a person of color or not. And it's like, that's how he gets them. He just has to appease to these certain demographics and he gets their vote automatically. And I feel like the Christian vote is so easy because it's simply pro-life, gun, anti-immigration, and it's like the most cruel, inhumane policies, and the Christians are like, yes, I want that. And I'm just like, you truly you do not believe that Jesus would stand for this, right? Because I realize their view of Jesus and my view of Jesus are very different. My Jesus is very kind, very loving, very bold, confident. He flipped tables. He corrected people when they were wrong. He drew in the sand and told people that, like, if you were the first to not, you know, like, he did what he had to do, but, like...
You were not sin to be the first to throw the stone.
Yeah. These folks don't know what they stand for. They don't know what they believe in, and therefore, they fall for everything, and then they call people sheep.
Some Christians, not all, but some, they only focus on the last 3 days of Jesus' life. They're not... It's like he had a whole life, but you only focus on his death.
It's crazy how, like, these supporters are so pro-life, but they didn't give a fuck about the children who died because of gun violence. Like, y'all want children to be born so badly, right? And not be aborted, yet y'all don't give a fuck while they're here. So what's the point? Y'all claim to believe in Jesus so much, right? But where's the love? Why does it matter if someone claims to be a child of God, but you show no kindness? You show no love. You show no care for the oppressed, for the orphans, for the widows. You don't give a fuck for people.
That's the issue, though, with people who go to church is they just listen for the title. They're not looking for the fruit. For me, I don't give a fuck what you say. I need to see where's the fruition and what does that look like. If it's not matching what you say, then you're a liar. They weren't able to... Yeah. They can't notice a liar when they see it. I shared something today about, like, y'all wouldn't notice a Klansman without his hat, without his hood. And it's like, y'all don't see it? This person is this person, but they fall for the facade. I thank God for discernment and for like wisdom and knowledge and like a deep desire for the truth, because I feel like it's helped me to shape the way that like I think and have beliefs and morals. And I thought that's what everyone did.
You know what the family we grew up in?
What?
I feel like we've yet to discuss anti-blackness in home families especially. But I caught onto that at a really young age. And I'm so glad that, you know, even with us, even when we were younger, and you and I didn't talk about this until we were older, but even when it was just to myself, when I was like, I remember as early as the age of 4, because that's as far back as I remember. I remember mom and dad would talk about like, oh, don't trust black people, don't accept this from black people. And I was always like, what the fuck? That's so fucked up. I'm glad that we as young children were able to be like, what the fuck? That's wrong. Why? And question like, why the fuck would you say that?
Yep.
And call it out right away.
Look at us. I'm
really
so proud of
proud of
us. Earlier we were talking about how we managed to break out of the matrix, and obviously we know we're going to continue to break out of them over and over and over. But it's so difficult in a world like, well, in a country like the US, and then a family like ours, a culture like ours, and a religion like ours is extremely hard.
Seeing where we are now and like witnessing each other's growth, it gives me hope that along the lines more people will become more awakened. And I was just telling Wen earlier, like, how hopeless I feel sometimes with everything that's going on. I feel like there are barely any people who are aware and who really just see things for what they are that's right in front of us. In regards to everything that's going on in the world right now, knowing that, like, we exist and that we've grown and our mind has been transformed from that to where we are now and are continuing to be, that we do have hope.
I agree.
We literally are living in a shit show, I feel, and we're seeing everything. Everything's in front of us, and there's just so much division, so much hate, so much unkindness.
There's so many non-playing characters, though. Like, they're so unfor real. Like, they're just there. And I have to remember to be able to distinguish which is which. Because for a long time, I would just snap on anyone. I would argue back and forth with people, and I realized people just don't want to understand. And it's sad for me to finally grasp the concept that a lot of people that we love and know, they don't understand and they don't care to.
Yeah, that's true. Remembering to preserve our energies in our conversations, because some people they do not want to hear. They do not want to know the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
honestly though, and not that this is an excuse, but there's a part of me that is like, how do normal everyday people have the time to even read a book? You and I, we work, we don't have a partner, we don't have kids. We can sit and read if, you know, we so desire. Do these people have time? And I'm not excusing them, because they definitely should know these things, but I just apparently have more time to read.
Shoot, I don't even read and I know.
Oh.
I read sometimes, but like, you know what I mean? Well, I barely got time to read and I can understand these things.
True, because even if these motherfuckers read, would they even understand?
And there are also other ways to learn too, like watch some documentaries, listen to audiobooks, do some research, listen to people who educate you on TikTok or YouTube.
Speaking of hopelessness though, like, I had a moment of that too, but it's like, I don't feel like people care. Like, people have, like, no emotions, no energy. They just don't care.
To learn or to shift their mindset?
They're apathetic. They literally, like, the attention span of a typical average American is, like, 6 seconds. They can't bear to sit down and understand why Charlie Kirk is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
They also wouldn't be able to comprehend what we're saying, let alone critically think.
Why do they care enough to stand up for him?
That's exactly what we're saying. If you're going to be dumb enough to post, like, at least be dumb enough to just not have any stance then.
Exactly.
Just don't have any opinion. Kids who do bad things, they get negative attention.
Yeah.
Is this connecting or am I high?
No. I can see that. So they want attention?
They do things. And like people reward them negatively. And it's like, is there, like, do they like, it's like self-deprecation or something like that?
I wonder if it's like internalized oppression. You've been told these things about yourself all along, and then you believe it, and so you then become against your own people for the benefit of these people because you want their approval. Like, oh, if I stand with these people, then at least I get white people's praise, or I'm less bad than what white people actually say I am.
Oh,
but that's
they're
stupid.
trying to earn approval somehow.
Yes, but I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. You, not that it needs to benefit you, but like, do you even know and understand what you are standing for?
Yeah.
Those of you who follow Trump, do you even understand what the fuck you're standing for? Don't say you voted for him and then didn't expect that he would be changing all these laws and shit, and then dividing families.
Why would you do something unless you think it benefits you, though? You know, I think they think they are that. I think they become this group of people. They begin to identify themselves with MAGA, and they are that, and it's like, oh, girl, no, they don't. They will still support you.
Right.
Like, are you fucking dumb?
That's why I say they're dumb. Because I'm like, you know that he doesn't give a fuck about you, right?
Right.
It's like he's clearly using you. It's like that lady that she was like, yes, Mr. Trump. And she was so happy. And then when he started deporting families, she's like, oh, I did not think Mr. Trump would do this. I'm like, girl.
Was it Hispanic?
She was a Latinx woman.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm like,
oh, no.
He used you as his pawn.
Did she change her mind on support?
I don't know.
Oh, my
And you know the
gosh.
Candace Owens woman?
Yeah.
She also was like, oh.
I didn't think he was going to do this.
She took back her vote, even though it was too late. But it's just like, don't say y'all didn't fucking know he was going to do this shit. You know what he valued, what he stood for, and you aligned with that, and that's why you voted for him. And don't be surprised that he's doing what he said he would do.
Why do those people of color always think they're the exception?
I don't understand. Because, it's because they're dumb.
Yeah, so this year, So and I are learning to be honest about things. Like, honest with ourselves, with our feelings, with each other, with other people. And we realize that some people are just terrible, bad, stupid, dumb
It's just
people.
the truth.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it may seem negative, but it's the truth.
Yeah. It's not nice to call them something if it's not true, but if they're dumb, I think it's okay to say they're dumb.
It's the truth.
I'm serious.
The world we live in is fucking crazy right now. And the genocide, it's been happening for so long.
This shit is heavy.
And y'all, don't call it no fucking war. It's not no fucking war. It's a genocide. It's happening right in front of all of us. And what are we doing about it? And for those of y'all who support Trump, y'all fucking support this genocide. Y'all know that, right? What are you going to tell your children when your children ask you one day, what were you doing during the time of the genocide? What's your stance on the gun violence? I don't think people think long term enough.
I don't think people think. People don't think about how they should be kind to people. Like, they don't think, period. It takes practice to do and be something. These people just don't do it on a day-to-day basis. So we leave it up for them to do it at the polls on November. If you're waiting for it to impact you before you start doing something, it's too fucking late.
Yeah, so don't wait till it's too fucking late.
They gonna do it to you.
Do y'all know our parents were immigrants?
I was just gonna talk about mom.
How do you not fucking care about these changes to immigration laws? How do y'all not care that ICE is destroying and separating these families? If you're not a child of immigrant parents yourself, I'm pretty sure there's at least one person you know in your life who is an immigrant themselves.
And if you're a person of color who does support Trump, slap yourself, because what the fuck?
I feel like so many of us, like especially this week, it's really just a shit show. So this is also a place for us to vent and rant with one another, because, man, some things we just cannot stay silent on. And I feel like we shouldn't be staying silent on a lot of these things. How can we just go on and pretend like all of this is not happening and be numb to everything that's happening right now? There's so much that happened within this last month, within this last week.
It's been quite a year. It's been a lot. It's been heavy. We've been following what's been going on in Gaza very closely, and just continuing to see Israel commit genocide and the world watch. It's very difficult. And then at the same time, I think about all the people who crossed the sea to go and help, and I think about the conversations that are being had at dinner tables, and I think it's worth it to continue to speak up about these things because it matters. And sometimes it could be a lot of energy to talk about it with family, right? Especially the ones who don't see eye to eye with you. But sometimes I really do believe that maybe we are the only ones they ever talk to that think differently, even just for a bit. And when I think about Hind, that little girl that was shot over 300 times in Gaza when she called for help, right? I'm like, she's worth talking about, because there's no way that our siblings get to sit at home with the kids they love, and Hind didn't get to go home to her family. We need to talk about these things. And to Mama House, yeah, we want to talk about healing. At the same time, sometimes it's hard for me to heal when there's so much going on in the world, and I feel heavy. I'm very sensitive to all of it, and I know you are too. So, and it's hard for us to ignore, and so therefore I won't. I don't think we're supposed to ignore. We're a community. We need each other.
I agree.
So while it's heavy and it is quite, a burden to carry sometimes, it's one that I'd rather carry this burden than be a piece of shit. That kind of burden is not one that I want to carry.
That's true. As long as we're standing for what's right, as long as we're standing for the truth, that's what matters.
Yeah.
I'd rather do this and feel alone than stand for what is obviously wrong.
Yeah.
And have so many supporters.
I think it's also difficult. I'll speak for myself. I think it's difficult for me to see all these church people, these Christians, family members, right, that we grew up with, and know how could they continue to support people who claim to be Christians, who perpetuate so much harm towards other people, right? How can they do that? Because I know I'm no longer a Christian. I don't identify as that anymore. But if I was in church when this happened, I know I would not be thinking the way that they're thinking. I'm not looking at the title of who's a Christian versus who's not. I'm looking at what harm is being done. And really, what would Jesus do in this instance? And I find it hard to believe that these people thought it through and thought Jesus would support Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, like what is their character like?
Right.
What are their values and morals? What do they stand for? What do they care about? How do they speak? How do they treat people? They don't give a fuck. They just care about your title, which is stupid because anyone could claim any title.
It's so crazy because I think about when Jesus' people were anticipating him, right? They knew there was going to be a Messiah, right? There's this title that was thrown out in the air. And when Jesus came, they couldn't recognize him. Because, y'all, the title, it only works on the people that you think it should work on. You can't only look at titles anymore. Yes, titles matter. Like, would I want someone operating on me if they weren't a doctor? No. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's be fucking for real.
Yeah.
We can't just fall for the okie doke, y'all. We gotta be real with it.
People care too much about power and control.
People are so scared to ask questions. Like,
yeah. I think that's what people should do more. There are so many school shootings a year, I can't even count on them. There's just, the stats, they're just so high. And then this one white man dies, and then a lot of Americans are outraged about it. There's a lot of privilege there, I feel, and a lot of biases.
It's always protect the children until it's time to protect the children, because what would have protected them is gun reform, gun policy. Like, I remember when I was in high school and Sandy Hook happened, I feel like shootings began to happen a little bit slower but more continuously, right? Now it's happening so fucking often. Sometimes it terrifies me out of having kids. I worry for our nieces and nephews because I'm like, kids deserve to go to school safely, return home safely, be safe at school. Even adults deserve to go from place to place and be safe too.
They have drills at school.
I know.
That's so sad. Like, even just thinking about it, like, one time I went to see some of my kids, and I was asking them how school was for them, and they were like, yeah, we had a drill today. I was like, oh, what kind of drill? A school shooting drill. And then another day, there was literally a school shooting.
The one in Minnesota?
No, the one in Madison. This was like a few months ago.
Yes.
And it wasn't a drill. They actually had to hide. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the fucking world that we live in.
Wow.
It's so sad. It's right within our very cities. It's in our very states. It's everywhere in our country.
I remember when that mass shooting that happened at a school in Minnesota, I think maybe it was like a week or two ago. Did you see the photo of the mom, she took off her shoes and she was running towards the school.
Yeah.
That was such a powerful image. And when I think about that from like a public relations or journalism point of view, I think about how that picture is gonna strike people for a long time. I'm not a mom, but I think about, I'll run into a school and grab our nieces and nephews. I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, but we shouldn't have to. Parents shouldn't have to. Because people shouldn't be fucking storming into schools with guns.
Yeah.
So like people are talking about Charlie Kirk, his kids. Y'all suddenly care about kids because if you cared about kids, y'all would have gave a fuck when we said stop killing black men.
Yeah.
Stop killing people. Stop police brutality. People only care. Let's be real. What people actually need to say.
Stop separating families.
Stop killing white people is what they want to say.
Yeah.
Stop only killing. They only want white people to be preserved. It's whiteness.
That's why when this happened, they're like, "Oh shoot, R.I.P. He didn't deserve this." That's not the fucking point here. And people aren't seeing that. People don't even see their own racism, their own biases, their own projections.
It's an internet world. Everything, like, you just do some reading, do some quick research. You don't have to pay anything. Go to the library. Knowledge is power, for real. I don't think I fully understood that when I was younger. But as an adult, I see how it equips you as a person.
Yeah. Listen to some books, read some books, listen to podcasts, watch some videos online, documentaries, have conversations. That's what helped grow me. Like, I'm glad we have each other so we can, like, challenge each other and hear each other's perspectives. Because Wen and I, we don't always think the same. Like, we have our own perspectives. And Wen has a lot of knowledge that she shares with me, too. So talk with people, have conversations, ask questions. Ask people why they believe what they believe, and that might change things for you. But for me, sometimes I just straight up disagree with people, and I just don't feel like giving them the energy to have conversations or to explain why, because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't want to. That's why nowadays I just cut people off, because I'm like, you either get it or you don't.
I think that's fair. I don't have time to explain it to people. Like, I used to.
Yeah.
But I really ain't got it no more, and I want to save my energy for the people who get it, because I'd rather brainstorm and strategize with the people who understand than like talk in this foreign language to people who don't listen to what I'm saying anyway. It's tough times going on in the world right now, and King Solomon talks about how like the more you know, like the deeper your grief is. And it's so true, because it's a lot to carry.
So take care of yourselves. This week sure was heavy for me. It's heavy for a lot of people out here. Preserve your energy.
Also, for the record, Mama House is very free Palestine.
Oh,
Black
yes.
lives matter.
Yes, period.
Stop Asian hate. Y'all know how we are.
Yeah.
It shouldn't come as a surprise that this is where we stand. And at the same time, we love Jesus. There's so many people who believe in Jesus in the world these days. But when Jesus was alive, he only had 12 followers. So it's like, we really can't fall for everyone who has the title of Christian. You gotta live it to be it. You can't just say it.
People didn't like the influence he had, though.
They didn't. Y'all killed him!
He went from 12 followers to thousands upon thousands upon... Oh, the whole world knew him.
They always hate the person when they're alive, and some suddenly love them when they're dead. Same with Dr. Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. They hated them. Vilified them, especially Malcolm X. But as soon as Martin Luther King was assassinated, they were like, oh, this was a good guy. So much so that they even try to compare Charlie Kirk to Dr. Martin Luther King, which is fucking funny because Charlie Kirk hated Martin Luther King and said he was a bad guy.
Ay.
I know, right?
Thank you guys for joining us in this conversation. I think we need to have more like this, where it's just we're sitting in a kitchen room talking. This is how Wen and I just be hanging out.
Yeah.
And I think that it's important to just show these other real conversations that we be having. You know, we were just talking for a little while, actually. And then we're like, wait, why don't we start recording these too and sharing them? Because, like I said earlier, it's just too good not to share. And we hope that we can continue building community. You know, I don't know if there are a lot of people who have community to talk about these things with. Like a lot of times in the past in churches, especially the ones I've gone to, they try to stray away from political conversations. But I'm like, everything is like political, and
Everything is political.
and everything has to do with race. It affects everything. I don't think people understand how everything affects everything. How can we not talk about it?
I don't like it when people will talk politics and then will be like, well, I don't talk politics. I'm like, what do you mean? You just mentioned something political. Well, I love God, but if you love God and you love Jesus, then you understand Jesus was executed by the state, right? So it is political. Even Jesus' very death was political. He didn't have fair trial, you guys. Yeah. Think about that. We're trying to tell you guys what you believe and what you're promoting is dangerous. We don't want it to happen to you. Well, you know, we're not saying it to our supporters because I don't think most of our supporters will be supporting this, but to whoever comes across our page.
Yeah, even religion is political. It affects the very laws that are established.
I think it's good to have conversations about these topics, even if they're heavy. I hope you guys have people that you can lean on and talk about too. Even if you don't know too much about it, talk about how you felt seeing it and talk about the things you don't understand too. You don't have to know everything. I'm gonna need people to stop being embarrassed of not knowing stuff. The way to know stuff is to know where you don't know and you pick up from there. Everything that you love is touched by what goes on.
Thank you all for joining in with us on these hard conversations. We hope that you got to take something from it, whether it's more reflection, whether it's some knowledge, or even just having two people's perspective who also can resonate with yours. We appreciate growing this community with one another and really do think it's necessary to talk about these real things that are happening within our country right now that's been happening for a while. We need to bring awareness to these things and have some hard conversations about it and how we're navigating it as well. It's not always easy, and we have relationships with family members and other people who have different views. Just having this community to support one another and talk about how it also impacts us. These conversations help us too.
Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you on the next episode.
See you next time. I thought it ended already, but it's still here.
Bro, she always be gasping like that.
I know.